Hello, my name is Sebastian Villarreal, and this is Reflection 3, Diversity and Teamwork. So with the first question being what I had learned from, the two lessons I learned from Diversity and Undiverse World are as follows. Number one, of course, being the diversity of identity as well as the diversity of thought. Now, when it comes to the diversity of identity, yes, when we think of diversity, we think of race, religion, how we are all different, and how we all should come together. Yes, that is what you do think of when you think of diversity. However, this goes beyond that. Kind of like in the video, they used a picture of an iceberg. Yes, you see this much, however, there's this much beyond the surface. And for example, in the video, Professor Brazil was talking to a young child, and they asked him, you are a professor, have you ever failed a class? Has that ever happened to you? And he could have lied, however, he was transparent and said, I got every grade in college, A, B, C, D, F. And with that being stated, kind of going hand in hand, yes, you do see a professor, yes, you do see someone of great knowledge who has these high academic achievements. However, that's not to say that they didn't fail somewhere along the lines and learn from their failures in order to catapult into greatness. And for the second one, being the diversity of thought, kind of like in the example, Professor Brazil actually ended up using the example of the young 23-year-old being put into corporate America, and once being put into corporate America, saying to the head bosses, hey, I have all these great ideas. These great ideas could help us and take us to greatness. And the only thing is, with this example, the head bosses ended up saying, why would we change? There's no need to change. We would never change. Never, ever, ever. And that's not how things are supposed to go. When thinking of diversity of thought, you have to take everyone into consideration. There could always be a better way. There could always be a faster way, a cheaper way, something better. There's always gonna be something better. You just need to give it a chance. As for connection between diversity and teamwork for a student athlete, I am no longer a student athlete. However, I was one at some point. So the diversity and teamwork of a student athlete, kind of like, as we all know, there is no I in team. So we all must work together in order to win, because that's all why we're here. We are here to win. It doesn't matter if somebody's hurt, if somebody's missing, if somebody, is not feeling good, is kind of nervous, someone is not there mentally, we all must come together and we all must take upon everybody's diversity of thought, kind of going back, and overcome that in order to achieve, in order to win, in order to become champions. And that's not to say you do that only solely in a game. You also do that in practice, in scrimmage, in everything that you do every single day at any particular sport, whether it's baseball, basketball, football, soccer, anything. With the relationship between unity, coherence, and balance within an effective speech, I would say in this speech in particular, the unity being kind of going back into Professor Brazil using examples of, yes, we are different, however, we're not so different, if that makes any sense. Kind of like how with the example going back to Professor Brazil and his Uber driver, the Uber driver being a Muslim and him being a Christian, and them actually agreeing on more things than most people would think they would agree on, upon initial hearing of a Christian and a Muslim. So as for coherence, the coherence also being the flow, I guess you could say, of this speech, kind of being how it almost seemed like steps. It almost seemed like there was certain steps in order for us to become more involved with one another, more understanding of each other, and not only better as individually being better by ourselves, but also being better as, I would say, better as a nation, as I could put it. And as for balance within this speech, kind of like going back to this speech, I guess you could say it never felt rushed. So there's no need to rush. There's no need to get the whole point across all at one time. That's not needed. Take your time and let the audience actually absorb the knowledge that you are giving to them. As for what mistakes I've made within using presentation aids and what I've learned to help improve for the future, I've actually, for presentation aids, I've had everything from videos not working, sounds being off, pictures taking up the whole presentation aid. I've had also where I used a baseball and tossed it around and was actually demoted a whole letter grade because one of my teachers said there was a distraction, and many of the kids, instead of listening to my presentation, were just playing with the baseball and not really listening to what I had to say. So with presentation aids, those were the mistakes that I made, and what I've learned from those are actually to, one, know your audience, know what they're going to do with the presentations that you have, and how exactly it's going to help you on a day-to-day basis of, I guess you could say, taking it one step at a time, and also just, how could I say it? Also, just learning from your mistakes. Now I learned, maybe don't toss around a baseball. Also, download videos instead of using the internet, because anything can happen.